It is a sad day, my fellow petrol and diesel-headed friends, because Skoda have decided to kill the RS. Well, in diesel form anyway. It's going to continue as a petrol, but in early 2024, Skoda will cease production on what was, let's be honest, an affordable way to get into a reasonably quick hatch, liftback, whatever you want to call this thing. And it could do everything. You could convince the missus that it can carry the kids. It has a 600-litre boot. It's easy enough on juice. And it's a Skoda badge, so no one's going to judge you. This was the car. And now I think they've kind of killed it. Yes, it's going to continue as a petrol, but the problem is VRT. Look at the Golf R. They've all but killed it. It's €90,000 now. How much is a petrol Octavia RS going to be? So let's take it for one last spin and see how we get on. Welcome to Nobby on Cars. There's something that is getting more and more rare these days, and that's a bit of torque steer, perhaps a little bit of wheel hop, although there's plenty of EVs that do manage to achieve that as well. But there's a sound to go with that wheel hop. It tells you that you're pushing the car beyond its limits if it's a little bit wet, a little bit slippy. It's a more raw feeling, I suppose. And this 2-litre TDI version of the RS, it's just something that, you know, you feel a bit more connected to the car. I've driven the electric RS Enyaq, and yes, it's very fast in a straight line, but it's just not the same. It's just not the same. Not only that, this thing will do 5 to 6 litres per 100 kilometres, no matter how you drive it, you know, within reason, and you'll just get from A to B with a bit of a smile on your face. And then driving it is easy. What do I mean by that? Well, you've got a 7-speed automatic gearbox, just a little nib down here. You have paddles on the back of the steering wheel, should you wish to use them. Very comfortable seats, bucket seats in this case in the RS. It's not a huge departure from a standard Octavia, you know, sport line or whatever. The fake carbon fibre interior and stuff is in that version of the car as well. But it's just the extra flashes of red stitching here, there, and around the place. And, you know, it's a little bit special. Now, €47,000 is not exactly cheap. Once upon a time, an Octavia would not have cost you that much money, and it's not without its flaws. For example, yes, you get frontal collision, you get a rear camera, but you don't get blind spot. And again, for the top of the range Octavia, you'd probably be expecting that. Similarly, there's no roof, so it's a little bit dark, a little bit black. Yeah, and it can struggle for grip in the wet a little bit. There's a lot of torque, over 400 Newton meters going through those front wheels. Diesel engine, a little bit clattery at low or RPM or when it's cold, but really once you're on the move, you barely know it's there. I think what's important to remember here is it's what this car gives you. It gives you the freedom to drive from Cork to Donegal without worrying about having to stop. It looks good, you know, it looks smart, the wheels look nice. Kind of just perhaps starting to be the last of the reasons that you kind of wanted a car. There's no doubt the Golf GTI is the more lustful 4 wheels. But for a lot of people, the RS Octavia just added a little bit more. It gave it a bit more practicality. You could truly fit buggies and stuff into it, and then when you weren't being dads, you could have a bit of fun. And we are slowly perhaps starting to lose that. EVs will get better and better to drive, but this video isn't about EVs today. It's just about saying goodbye to a bit of a legend. A car that ran on an oily rag, that was good to drive, low seating position, and liked to be revved. And there's no doubt that the petrol version is even more enjoyable to drive. Problem is just going to be the cost. Running it is one thing with the price of petrol these days, but also just the killjoys with VRT and everything else that takes the fun out of being a motorist in Ireland. And while we're not perhaps saying goodbye to something like multiple generations of the Porsche 911, for example, it's not the point. For a lot of people, this was their 911. This was all they could afford, and maybe this even was a stretch. But the love of driving, the love of cars just said, feck it, I want an RS, I'm going to get one. And you can say that for so many modestly-ish priced cars over the years, and this is just a day where we'll start to see the decline of that. And I hope that what replaces these cars in the future will still be fun. Will that be synthetic fueled products? I don't really know right now. That's the problem. No one really knows right now. Coming out of a bend, I love the fact that it actually kind of tests you. It's not full of so many safety gadgets on the one hand that it's going to not let you have a little bit of fun. It doesn't have a limited slip, but again, does that make it a bit more raw? It would certainly help get the power down with those front wheels. Get a gap, bury it. Just to hear even a diesel engine revving like that, it's so rare these days. I'm gonna miss this stuff. Did you have one of these over the years? What did you think of it? How long did you hold on to it for? Did you lose your shirt on it? Or did you manage to flip it on for not too bad a loss at all? It's a sad day. It's a sad day for the RS. I, for one, I'm going to miss them. Is icon too strong a word? I don't know if it is. This thing has been around as long as we've been into cars, and it kind of makes me sad that the RS, as we've come to know it in so many ways, is just slowly fading away. This was the car that could do it all, you know. It's all the car you ever need, and then slap an RS badge in it, and it's really all the car you ever need. And from next year, it'll be no more. I don't know. I mean, I'm getting James Blunt here in my head. Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. You have been the one, or something like that. Will you miss it? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you very much for watching.